I wanted to quickly talk about the cast of characters in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I didn't talk about it in my recent review reflection, as I thought it deserved a whole video on its own. With the way the game was set up, by having just one central village, we really got to see more of the characters' stories and personalities than we traditionally would with just gym leaders popping in and out of the game, or just traditional Pokemon games. Legends Arceus was also unique because it had the whole ancestor thing, which I thought was implemented really well and very seamless. The first character I wanted to discuss is Cyllene, who is a very astute captain. She doesn't show much emotion at all until later in the game, where we get to see a more sympathetic and compassionate side. After that short sequence in the Red Sky chapter, we really don't hear much from her, but her sympathy and urge to help us in the later events of the game was all people really needed to see from her. And I even see people saying she has become one of people's favorite characters, or even favorite character, which is pretty surprising to me. Commander Kamado is a very strong, brittle leader. He is driven to protect his village at all costs after the catastrophic events of his last hometown, when it was burnt down by maddened Pokemon. This drive causes him to be a bit panicky and hasty in certain situations, which I know put people on edge, and they hated Kamado for unfairly scapegoating us, which is completely understandable. I just described his leadership as being strong, but this can definitely be seen as a very weak move. And like I said, I do think we do have to consider his past experiences to why he was so antsy. He was clearly trying to do everything he could to protect the village, as he even went up to Mount Cornet. I don't know what he was expecting to see up there, but all I'm saying is that he really wears his heart on his sleeve, which led him to being very hasty, when all he needed to do was trust us and reach out for a help. So at least he does concede and apologizes by the end of the game, and that's all that matters at the end, right? Volo at first seems like a very unassuming, reliable member of the Ginkgo Guild. I mean, a lot of people caught on a lot earlier than I did. I was replaying the earlier stages of the game for footage, and I found this encounter, which is hilarious in retrospect. Like, obviously you don't take these hints in when you're just playing the game before knowing this, but this is just such a hint. Like, he's teaching sneaking up and backstriking. Like, that's just such a hint. And eventually the coincidences and hints do start to stack up when we meet him at the Cyllene ruins at the end of the game, when his truth first really gets to shine. This is of course climaxed with his evil laugh and mention of Giratina, and then obviously his ultimate betrayal. I, like many, did not beat him the first time around. It took me many attempts, and I just can't help but imagine what would happen if we didn't beat him and we were struck down by Volo and he does take all of our plates and meets Arceus. It's a chilling alternative that I hope we get to see a rendition of at some point by like the official Pokemon website or YouTube channel or media or whatever. But I think I might have a go at animating that scene one day when I have proper equipment, because it's just like such a startling scene to think of if he does actually beat us. Professor Laventon was the one who started this all. Without Laventon's compassion and willingness to offer us a home, we wouldn't even be here in the first place. But also without us, the Pokédex would have progressed very little, and that would have thrown Cyllene's potato mochi die off the wall. But Laventon gives off that classic helpless, clumsy, awkward, bumbling look like so many of the other professors do, but his passion for Pokemon always shines through no matter how many surveys. He doesn't get sick of it. He was also key to creating the Origin Ball. I'm not sure what he will get up to now with the Pokédex complete, but I think he's earned himself a nice rest. It's kind of weird saying that with being back to the present in Paldea. Sounds like I'm talking about his death, but I mean within the game rest. But it was a nice ode to have him on the whiteboard in the history class. Beni was another character who had a surprising amount of depth considering he was just the cook. He was Kamando's trusted assistant who also fled his hometown after it was burnt down. He didn't exactly welcome us when we first came, and I think he remained suspicious of us throughout. So once he saw us as a threat to Kamado, he knew it was his duty to get rid of us. Now this is cool. Also, there is a relation to Wally, which was a surprise ancestor thing at the end of the game, which the ancestor thing is just a really cool way to expand upon the universe and give these original characters even more depth. Ottoman and Irida also have small development stories, especially Irida with being such a young leader. Melly is obnoxious. Paulina has an awesome story and a very good theme too. And Iskan has some very funny moments too. And that's about all the characters I wanted to talk about now. I think I'll leave the other two characters that I wanted to talk about, Ingo and Koghida, for the mysteries video, which will be out by the end of next weekend, before Pokemon Day. But be sure to let me know what your thoughts on the characters are down below. I mean, just overall, you've got a great balance of characters. I don't think you could ask for anything more. You've got a character, Melly, who everyone can agree on is just super annoying, and then a clumsy, lovable professor that Laventon is. Two leaders who are completely opposite but reunite pretty much at the end of the game. A controversial leader in Kamado, a secret love story with Iskan and Paulina, and then we've got Koghida, who's a mysterious old woman. It's got many fables and tales to tell, but she only tells a few of them, probably keeps quite a lot to her chest, which we'll discuss in the mysteries video. Got a victim of time travel who can't work out his bearings. A cook who turns into a ninja. And then there's Volo, who, you know, seems like a friend and someone who you could trust. Picks us up when we had no one to really turn to, and he ends up just working with us for his own greed and to find the plates. So again, the characters are just amazing. Like, you can argue previous Pokemon games have better characters, which, I mean, Scarlet and Violet was brilliant with their characters, but it's just got such a great range and depth. And I didn't even mention some of the other wardens who have some funny dialogue too. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I'll put up the mysteries video by the end of the weekend. I'll try really hard to finish that one, and I've got a lot to cover in that one. Also, there should be a Scarlet and Violet video wrapping up the end of that game coming out before this weekend too. I'm trying to get out as much stuff as I can before Pokemon Day. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.